Anonymous. Cyber attacks.
A new kind of warfare.
Hackers and activists.
Security leaks. Computer hackers.
Hackers. Activists.
Anonymous has struck again with a warning. This is just the beginning.
Anonymous is a collective known for recent attacks on government and corporate websites.
The internet is a powerful new medium where just a handful of people in small groups, just by shifting data around in the right directions, can make big changes and big damage.
The more you said, the more frightening it was.
The Pentagon is now singling out Anonymous as an example of the serious new cyber threats facing the country.
The fundamental unit here is information warfare.
We're gaining back the freedoms that the forefathers assured us through technology, and we can't allow these freedoms to be taken away. I will put my body on the altar of liberty again and again and again.
Information is the weapon, and information properly understood and properly used in an honest way is more effective than anything else in the world.
If you've got your eye on Boeing, yeah, please go for it. I'd like to see those fuckers go down. Download the code, modify the code just a bit, bombard the Pentagon. You're either with us or you're against us.
You have 15 minutes available for this call.
Hello? Andrew? Are you there?
It's not scary to be going to prison?
No, I never was scared to be going to prison. There's all these cool people, and I'm learning all these cool things, and you know, I'm making lifelong future friends, and you know, it's future business partners, certainly. Embarrassing people. I enjoy it. It's viscerally fun.
He's an instigator.
The most lovable little pest on the internet.
His ability to make other people so angry is the talent that he has.
Almost 99% of the articles that come out for Weave, they all start with, he's a dick, he's an asshole.
Little Weave is going to troll the fuck out of Apple and AT&T.
How do I plan on keeping my cornbread safe in prison? I will stab a nigger that dares reach across my plate. I am the Bruce Lee of Reg XP. I didn't get caught. I put my name on what I did. I'm not here to play nice with AT&T. I'm here to comment and criticize. There was a URL on an AT&T web server with a number at the end. And if you had add one to this number, like you could have typed it in the iPad web browser over and over again, you would see the next iPad 3G user email address. Here's AT&T handing out a complete target list of their customers. It was morally required to come forward and sort of put them over the coals for this. It was like 114,000 email addresses.
And it's quite a list.
New York Times CEO Janet Robinson.
White House Chief of Staff Rahm Emanuel.
Diane Sawyer.
Not to mention the U.S. Army and Congress.
It doesn't get much more high profile than Mayor Michael Bloomberg of New York City.
Mayor Bloomberg was like, this isn't a big deal. It's not like people can't find my email address. I'm aggregating public data and using it to criticize people whose politics I dislike. The FBI is combing through people's emails, grossly violating their constitutional rights. I think I have moral superiority here.
and FBI are like both walking here, and they're looking at the computers and they're like, my God, these red dots, they're converging. They hit a button.
No black SUV. There's been black SUVs outside like the past couple days. So.
All the red dots are in the same room right now.
There's gonna be even more later.
Magic fucking genie. You're actually in power. You're in charge.
The most drastic improvements that need to be made are in the education system. We need to give people the kind of classical Western education that they used to have. We need a curriculum that embraces, you know, like Keats and Byron.
It doesn't sound revolutionary.
It's absolutely revolutionary. We have people in power that have explicitly engineered our education system to make people dumb, obedient, and uncreative. Getting them out of fucking power and remaking it so people can be free-thinking, well-educated, sensible, non-reactionary people. This is a revolutionary thing, and it's probably going to require a whole lot of bloodshed.
Why has the FBI targeted you?
They have, by their own admission, been surveilling me since I was 15 years old. That was in the search warrant they used to kick in my door in 2010.
And why?
They wanted me to inform on hackers on the internet. You know, like they've tried to get me to do that many times.
There is a congruence between whistleblowing and hacktivism and hacktivists. The similarity is speaking truth to and of power, revealing the power structure, whether it's corporate, whether it's government, or both. I was a senior executive at the National Security Agency, and I served there for about 6.5 years. I blew the whistle on the secret surveillance program called Stellar Wind, which were the foundational surveillance programs that ultimately Edward Snowden, 12 years later, is now disclosing through reporters and journalists. The government went ahead and prosecuted me under the Espionage Act. I faced, it was a 10 felony count indictment. I faced 35 years in prison.
Hackers are important in the sense that they have the capacity to expose the secret or the inner workings of the state, which is why they are terrified of hackers and they are going after them with phenomenal vengeance.
We are looking at increased transparency.
Unprecedented transparency.
They want to avoid scrutiny. So our response, our best weapon, is to bring scrutiny to them. CNN and all these other things, they're not going to spend a single hour doing actual investigation.
He called the former head of the NSA at home, like, on a weekly basis for a couple months, trying to get him to talk to him.
Barrett was speaking in that language of real adversarial journalism, that the purpose of journalism is not to please those in power, but to report the truth, even when it makes those in power uncomfortable or reflects poorly on them.
Years old, a cocky college dropout, a self-described anarchist, Brown proclaims he is policing wrongdoing.
He was brash, he was cocky, he was arrogant.
He's fucking full of himself. He's awfully narcissistic.
He held court, so to speak, from his bathtub.
Fucking around on Tiny Chat.
Focus, but you can't take away our focus. We're growing up in middle of a digital ruckus. You can say fuck us, I am putting on the stoppers. We could be hackers, I'm making it, I like it. While we become workers, you become golfers. The modern day coppers beating on us for the papers.
The take of NBC Brass was Barrett was not a very appealing character. He was not somebody that they wanted to tout as in any way heroic or doing an admirable thing.
Barrett was somebody who was very open about his own struggles with substance abuse.
He was on a maintenance drug, like a methadone, like he was on Suboxone. At least he was trying to stay off hard drugs, you know, to be on at least a medicine.
Who are the members of Anonymous? Who are they?
They're everyone. I mean, you'd be amazed. There's obviously a lot of people who are hackers or just work in IT. They work for major corporations in some cases. There's journalists, writers of all kinds, people who work at gas stations.
What is Anonymous?
It's basically the power of an absolutely massive group of people coming together.
Anonymous are your brothers and sisters, your sons and daughters, your parents and your friends. Anonymous is you.
Somos anónimos. Somos legión.
ونحن نتسامح مع جرائمكم.
We were involved in Operation Tunisia, Operation Libya, Operation Algeria, and Operation Egypt.
Anonymous cannot and will not stand idly while people are being denied their basic rights and human liberties.
Understand that something is horribly wrong with this world.
The Tunisian government has made itself an enemy of Anonymous. The Egyptian government has revealed itself to be criminal
for the good of mankind and for our own enjoyment.
To end the corruption, we must expose it.
If you are working for a corrupt company, leak the data. If you are working for a corrupt government, leak the documents.
Think for yourself. Question authority.
Join us in this battle for freedom of information worldwide.
Remember, we are you. Anonymous is you. And you are anonymous. You are fighting for yourself, the web, and for the next step in evolution.
It's a very interesting relationship Barrett has with Anonymous. Barrett's anonymous. He's their spokesperson. Barrett's not anonymous. He's not their spokesperson. Is Barrett really anonymous because he doesn't hack and he doesn't really have computer skills? Well, does he have a Guy Fawkes mask?
He was fulfilling a very valuable and important function, which was to give Anonymous the legitimacy it needed. He was the person who was willing to go on record.
It's an open brand, like anyone can sort of label what they're doing anonymous. If you're doing something that people don't approve of, then Anonymous will turn in on itself and sort of like eliminate that, you know, like whatever it is that doesn't kind of fit in with the truth-seeking, justice-seeking ideology.
Are you not worried that even an informal involvement with Anonymous is going to end up with you targeted, with you potentially going to jail for this?
I mean, in Texas and indictments, it's like a Texas bar mitzvah. I got friends who've been died, they've gone to prison. I mean, you know, it happens.
He was interacting with other hackers. A couple times he wanted to make the point that he was not a hacker, that he was of the community.
Anonymous members try to hack into people's personal accounts and attempt to post personal information. We haven't tried to hack into anybody's personal, like a military person's personal account. And if we did, we wouldn't fucking go around bragging about it beforehand. We would wait until we were done. This article is also poorly written, and I object to that.
He wasn't able to just kind of do anything cleanly without people giving him a hard time about it.
My actual title is Cobra Commander. So that's what needs to be acknowledged, I think, further. I also go by faggot now.
They use that non-pejorative fag. He's an ego fag and a moral fag and a leader fag and a, you know, just about everything but a, you know, but a fag is, you know, leave it to the internet to have to repeat themselves.
What happened today is certainly illegal. Why are you willing to show your face?
I'm more useful as a name fag than I am just as another person with his name hidden.
Barrett being a named person was his own doing. He did not show up as anonymous. He showed up as Barrett Brown.
There's a new world being born here. At least that's the perspective of the people in it. And I think Barrett really reflected that and gave voice to this emerging worldview. Whether it's valid or not is another question.
We are anonymous. We do not forgive. And we do not forget.
I'm the de facto leader of a movement, screaming hack the planet back in 99. Activism in its prime.
Sabu spoke about things in terms of this being a movement for revolution, and everybody was his comrade or his brother.
He had kind of built himself up within Anonymous and had this reputation of, like, doesn't give a fuck freedom fighter.
There's de facto leadership, de facto organizers. Someone had to have the idea and start bringing people in. So for a little while, they're going to listen to this guy. They're going to say, what are we doing here? Why are we doing it?
There are two types of hackers. There's a ghost hacker who constantly changes his identity so nobody knows who he is or even how to really get a hold of him. And then there are people with permanent fixed identities.
Subversive. Fuck the feds. Fuck the government's obsession with controlling the people, and fuck our lack of privacy.
Sabu had a permanent identity. He made it pretty clear what his philosophy, his politics were.
I find him to be incredibly annoying. He uses words like, "What's up, niggy?" and he's a very, like, to me, like, I'm annoyed by everything that he says. Like, I don't like his terms and the way he, like, talks.
He was the king of the hacking world, doing it like a sir, in fact.
Friends around the globe, we are low security.
That's unexpected.
LulzSec came from Anonymous, and they enjoyed what each other did.
Laughing out loud at security, lols, sick.
Yeah, y'all, that's right.
Greetings from Anonymous. For the past decade, the government has tried to take control of our internet ocean.
The Lulz boat was just sailing the infinite seas of hacking excellence, hacking the shit out of everybody.
Yeah, y'all, that's right. We have
Fox, X Factor, Sony Pictures, FBI affiliate, CIA, PBS, Senate, Bethesda, Sun, News of the World, Arizona Police Department, AOL, AT&T, NATO, US Navy, your mother. Who's next?
Sophia, is everything alright? Are you dead?
Crossing the road. I'm not gonna, like,
Are you okay? Remember you tweeted my fucking phone number, said 512-560-262. Here's the leader of LulzSec. Call him now. You put it on the fucking LulzSec Twitter.
Barrett Brown is the leader of LulzSec. Give him a call now.
I got 200 calls.
I might have been a bit inebriated.
Hurry up. Get the sign. You have it? Oh my god. Oh my god, you did it. Oh my god. Oh my, you did it, man. No, I'm watching it. I'm standing here watching it. You did it. It's working. It's totally working.
I was working in a cubicle, I'd be like, oh, what are those LulzSec guys doing today?
You know those God hates fags, morons that protest soldiers' funerals and stomp on American flags because they got a problem with gay people?
God hates fags. What part of that don't you understand, girl?
I don't fucking understand why God hates fags.
Because he can.
You can sometimes take over the websites themselves, put messages up as we did today with Westboro.
That's unexpected.
If you check downloads.westboro Baptist Church right now, you'll see a nice message from Anonymous.
The hacks got bigger and bigger and bigger. Pull up the screen, and they're like, Tango down, CIA.gov for the lulz.
Very well, sir.
I'm like, oh shit.
What a hacktivist can do and does do all the time is embarrass the power elite in a way that, boots on the ground can't. So you can go and sit in front of a building, You can circle the Pentagon. That doesn't really embarrass anyone. If you hack the website of the CIA, you've embarrassed the power structure of the nation state. You've embarrassed the Pentagon. You've embarrassed the United States of America. You've embarrassed it by puncturing the illusion of their power.
You made us look bad. You taunted us. We don't take too kindly to that. You embarrassed me. So when someone comes along, like a hacker, and exposes the dark underbelly of this beast, that beast, it's not just tickling the beast, they're going to take some swipes at you.
One of the most notorious hacking groups of all time has had its head chopped off.
We turn to the government crackdown on a loose, large network of politically inspired hacktivists.
A 19-year-old who goes by the nickname Topiary was arrested in Scotland's Shetland Islands.
The FBI will pull in some 17, 20-year-old kid and threaten them with 100 years in prison just to get them to inform on people. There were at least 3, snitches involved in the takedown of Lulzsec. This was a domino effect. People were taken into custody that folded on their comrades.
Want to speak to me? Want to join the fight? Go to Wall Street and protest.
On September 17, 2011, Sabu comes back on Twitter from his month-long absence, and he's like, "Rise up, my fellas." The next thing I know is 18 chat rooms are linked together, and everybody's working in this Occupy Wall Street chant, and holy shit, all right, so let's get to work.
They took your money. They took your freedom. They tried to take your courage. Now we know you cannot be stopped.
I grew up in a normal family. I'm from Arkansas. I'm a high school dropout. There's nothing particularly special about me. And there's nothing particularly special about any of us. But together we can form a movement. I am the 99%.
Tricked us into going down a one-way street, and then they kettled us because we were on a one-way street. They were really mean and kind of violent.
Were you wearing your anonymous mask when you got arrested?
I was too. I don't want to hide my face, but sometimes I feel like I have to.
People are dismissing you guys as anarchists.
Well, I'm an anarchist, and many Anons are anarchists as well, and so are many of the people who support us and work with us.
Anarchy. Thousands of Occupy protesters flooded the streets.
The sinister mask fashioned on Guy Fawkes, the revolutionary who attempted to blow up the British Parliament buildings more than 400 years ago, has become a worldwide symbol of anarchy and revolution. They are terrorists.
The other side, the rich motherfuckers, portraying us all as destructive, mindless anarchists and so forth, really exposed how reactionary and how inherently violent the police state really is.
This guy was just arrested, didn't do anything illegal. This guy was just standing around too.
the Jews fooled the Germans because they got to Germany and they're very like serious, rigid people, and the Germans were like, oh, they're just like us, and so they got this great success in Germany. And then the Germans figured out, oh, they took over our banks and it's hyperinflated our currency. Fuck these people. And perhaps the punishment was disproportionate to the crime, but
Maybe.
The Jews were the criminal people in Germany, and they did have something coming to them, you know, just a little.
Oh my
Perhaps
God.
not the Holocaust.
I totally don't blame you for walking away. It's a good thing you're a troll. You can always pull that kind of troll card.
He's obviously a troll and by all accounts, an asshole, and highly offensive and of dubious moral fiber and dubious moral standing.
He is an internet troll, and for the uninitiated, that's someone who just likes to mess with people for the sake of messing with people.
Trolling is a rhetorical style that exposes somebody else's personality flaws by eliciting a reaction from them that shows the true nature of their character.
He pinpoints your vulnerability and he immediately starts to exploit it, but for a higher cause, to show that you're hypocritical, to show that you have misogyny, to show that you yourself are racist while you're yelling at him for being racist.
Trolling is in the Socratic tradition of questioning everything and driving people nuts until they question their assumptions. And that's basically what a good troll will aspire to do.
If I were to name parties that I think were great trolls, I'd say Giordano Bruno, Zeno of Elia, Jesus Christ, Joseph Smith, Brigham Young. I'd definitely name some parties who used a very combative style of rhetoric, but probably nobody alive.
You meet Weave in person, and he's the nicest guy in the world. He'll hold the door open for you, he'll grab you a soda if you ask him, and if you meet him online, he'll spew a whole bunch of anti-Semitic crap, and he'll be really mean.
I'd like to think of trolling as a way of expressing working class discontent. I recall recently that Gina Reinhart called the working class people of Australia lazy and without self-control. Trolling is the right of said people to respond by telling her to perhaps stop eating and get on a treadmill.
You say that trolling is about creating something that expresses the true nature of the character. I wonder how what you said about Gina Reinhart exposes the true nature of the character if you're just talking about her weight.
When she has inherited wealth from her father, a bunch of mines, and she runs around calling the people that pull the minerals out of the ground for her lazy and stupid, and it's disgusting. It's a level of decadence and gluttony that I think speaks not only through her weight, but her general demeanor. She's a loudmouthed, obnoxious idiot. I'm not a bigot, except by the original definition of bigot, in that I air my opinion very loudly without the concern for others' fucking cries of help about, oh, you're saying something that we don't like to hear. That's actually the initial definition of bigot before it was associated with a racist. Somebody who loudly airs their opinion. And it says something stark now, that bigot is a pejorative term.
There's a quote from Voltaire. It says, "To find out who rules you, find the people you may not criticize." Why do we all have to agree with each other? That's what freedom is about. It's I can call you a disgusting kike, and we can still live in a fucking safe society.
He actually is trying to shove this down everyone's throat. Freedom of speech at all costs, as hardcore as I can make it.
He's a crazy fucker, but you know, he's our crazy fucker, I think.
What was it, like gay nigger society? Oh crap, I can't say that on camera, can I? I should probably not put that on camera.
The Gay Nigger Association of America has been around, I think, probably since 2000. It is a very old troll organization. I was elected president of it in 2010.
Figured out what works for you, so aside to mention Jews. I've been G-lined. Oh shit, oh crap, it's another we've attacked. Don't know what to do, somebody get somebody, U-C-C-O-F. It's time to stress, LOL. Gay Nigger Association of America.
The name is based on a Danish short film called Gay Niggers from Outer Space.
The gay niggers come from the planet Anus.
and they are much, much more intelligent than any other creature in the universe.
When Hurricane Sandy swept through New York, they posted a bunch of pictures on Twitter of black people like looting and stuff, from like Sandy Loot Crew is what they called it, the hashtag. Tons of media outlets picked it up. If people were tweeting out pictures of white people in suits stealing TVs, the media would actually investigate it and be like, all right, this is bullshit, instead of just reporting on nonsense without any forethought.
Trolls in trouble. Computer hackers find themselves on the wrong side of the law after breaching AT&T security.
I mean, I guess there's like a blurry line between like Goat Security, was it a troll or was it a hack? But I mean, the name Goat Security invokes that terrible image that ruined my childhood.
He named his company Goatsy Security, so if you know what Goatsy is, G-O-A-T-S-E, I'm not going to explain it.
Hey, there's a gaping security flaw here.
Goatsy Security, who are these guys? And they're Googling Goatsy, and they're getting the Goatsy picture.
They're called Goatsy Security. Is that, am I pronouncing that correctly?
Yeah, that's right.
We're analyzing coverage from Bloomberg, Goatsy, The Register, and Forbes.
Goatsy Security would expose the gaping security holes in your systems.
A corporation like AT&T and Apple, you know, the only way you could really get to them was literally to send it to the media and make a gaping asshole mockery of it.
We're here today to announce that our office has filed criminal charges against Andrew Ornheimer.
Fucking bounce on it. I don't understand it.
The picture that the press has painted of me is unfair, and I'd love to have a discussion, a fair discussion. Truth triumphs in the end.
Would you say you did anything wrong?
I don't believe I've done anything wrong, no.
Well, what happens when a hacktivist comes along, some kid, right, like Weave comes along and like punctures the invincibility of the United States government or AT&T? You minimize the power of these institutions by doing that, right? That's why these kids have to be stopped.
My time has come. Sent shivers down my spine. Body's aching all the time. Goodbye, everybody. I've got to go. Gotta leave you all behind to face the truth. Mama.
Come on, everybody. Everybody, we're going.
Can you whistle the Ode to Joy?
Been good knowing you. I hope to see you all again. If not, Right me sit and keep causing trouble. Cause as much trouble as you can in my stead.
That was classic, of course.
Oh. You're not coming in?
No, I'm coming in. I just don't know how fast they're going to take you.
In my country, there's a problem, and that problem is the feds. They take everybody's freedom, and they never give it back. I'm going to prison for arithmetic. I added 1 to a fucking number?